Peace, y'all. This is your girl Nikisha with Favorful Restorative, where we unleash harmony, mind, body, and soul. So let's get into it. We are here for the essential oils reading of the week. So let's get into it. So we're going to start with a little clearing of our centers. You ready? Let's hit it. That sure was pretty. All right, so I will that everyone enjoyed their week last week and that they enjoyed a restful weekend and that you are finding some time to be able to get in that self-care, because truly this time of year is the time when self-care is the most necessary, is the most critical, like all times a year, but there's something about this time right now that makes it even the more. Did the cards already come out? How about it? This is a lot. It looks like we're creating in a blend. I love this. Okay, so let me show you what we got out. That was quick, fast, and in a hurry. I love when the universe works like that. Okay, so the first one that we picked was Lemon Eucalyptus. And Lemon Eucalyptus energizes the spirit. So, I'm going to leave it there. We also got Oregano. And Oregano releases limitations and discomfort. Okay. And then we have Manaka. Manaka, that's a new one for me. So I'm excited to see what it is and also what we can use maybe as a replacement oil in case we can't find Manaka. But it brings self-regeneration and transformation. Go. I like the way that sounds. That makes me excited. Okay, and then we have Jasmine. So Jasmine attracts desire and spiritual love. Wow. Okay, so we have a combination of energizing the spirit while bringing self-regeneration and transformation, while releasing our limitations and discomfort, as we are attracting our desires and spiritual love. Because the love that I see that is being shared among a lot of us is very, very conditional. And so I am grateful to Jasmine for attracting what is real, for attracting what is true, what is not based on conditions, but what is truly based on unconditional love, which means that I love you at every level. I love you through your growth. I love you through your stagnation. Your proximity to me may be different, but the love for you does not change. So I'm going to leave it here, and I'll see you right back whenever we create our blends, and we'll dive down deeper into how we use these oils to assist us with moving through emotional patterns. All right? See you soon. Peace, y'all. We are back. So our essential oils of the week, we picked our Jasmine, Lemon Eucalyptus. That one was Jasmine. What else did I pick up? Oregano, Jasmine, and Manaka. And what I found is that Manaka, as a substitution, we can also use tea tree. And so we're going to go through each one of the oils and talk about how they can be powerful allies for us as they support us as we go through and discover some of our emotional patterns, whether they be positive patterns that we want to keep or some of those that we need to move through and shift, right? So we know that there is power in essential oils to create healing because they're herbs. They're a part of Mother, Father, Earth. And so the properties that each of the essential oils have, we can use those properties to assist us with any particular chakra center, any energy centers, as well as our emotional patterns. So that's what we're here to do, to talk about how we can use these specific essential oils that we picked this week to do just that, to assist us on the process of incorporating them as we are inner self healers, right? Because whatever's within us is what we experience on the external side, right? So, where do I want to go? Okay. So I just want to, I'm in Carolyn Mann's book, and she has so many beautiful, like, things in this book. And so today I'd like to go deeper into discovering additional emotional patterns. So I'm just going to, like, kind of fly through this, but I feel like this is great information. And I really don't want to say it in my words because I don't want to take anything away from what has already been written. But I felt like it was very, very great information to share. So we've been talking about clearing emotions using essential oils, using sound healing, different ways of being able to go through this inner healer. As you know, I'm always like hands-on or whatever, using my hands. I'm a Reiki practitioner. I believe in source universal energy in order to be able to cleanse and clear our energetic bodies. And so let's talk about core issues, though, because emotions are just a tentacle of a specific core issue. This is a part of what I was speaking of whenever I introduced the book Feeding Your Demons. And so if you have not picked up that book, if you have not been able to look at the intro, I believe there's 5 steps, and then I actually have a Feeding Your Demons meditation to go along with it. That is great work, especially if you're encountering the dark night of the soul, or something is going on in your life and life seems like it's kind of spinning out of control. This is a beautiful way to be able to get to the root of the issue, because again, whatever is happening within us is what we're experiencing outside of us. And so these videos are just, created just because they're tied to my own experiences and my own version of self-healing. So as we look at emotions that lie on the surface, you can begin to look at some of the emotions that surround a major core issue. Okay, so I feel like at this point we're on week 7. So there are a lot of different meanings for 7. One being, coming to the end, coming to the completion of something, right? So I think that this is a great time to look at, for the last 7 weeks, for those of you who have been rocking with me since the beginning, for the last 7 weeks, whenever we're looking at some of the emotions, are there some patterns that we can trace? And of the patterns that we see in our emotions, which ones are tied to a core issue? Can we see that there may be a pattern that we see coming up, or that we can see a core issue that keeps on being tapped every time, we're looking at what emotional pattern is coming up, what emotions we're feeling on a specific week, and with what essential oils we're creating to get to that issue. So a core issue is an issue that carries significant disruptive energy. So when we were talking about feeding your demons, we talked about a demon being anything that drains your energy. So I think that we give the devil and demons a lot of clout. We give them a whole lot of power. We empower them within ourselves, but really it's anything that's disruptive, anything that drains your energy. It's an energy drainer. So it usually has been in operation for a long time, and it's very easy to recognize. Okay, so examples of core issues can be rejection, it can be abandonment, it can be anger, it can be control. Those are big ones, right? But what we know is at the core issue, sometimes there are tentacles that come from where those core issues reside. Like, what is the root cause of
the feelings of rejection? Are these tied to some of our inner child wounds? Did we experience rejection before that may, on the other side of it, have a tentacle of abandonment? Because there's oils for rejection and there's oils for abandonment, right? But we got to figure out which tentacle is getting our attention. But for me, I think the most empowering thing is to find the core issue, because if you, of course, pull things from the root, there's nothing there left to grow, right? So having these sessions and having, us recognize in self-awareness what emotions may be like, front and center during a specific week, then empowers us to look and see what patterns those are attached to. And I will that you're able from that to see a pattern in a core issue that keeps getting plucked, so that you then can empower yourself through your self-management, through your responsible decision making, to be able to pull that from the root and deal with it directly. Okay. So, working with core issues and their tentacles. So the easiest way to find and distinguish core issues and their related tentacles is to observe your pattern of reaction. So when you feel these emotions, whatever they may be, how do you respond? What is your main response? And when you find yourself upset at someone or some situation, you're probably reacting to the person or situation with a conditioned response, which means learned behavior. This may have been something that has triggered you in the past before related to a core issue. And now anything that is plucked that seems like it is related or near that takes you back to that place, right? So a conditioned response could look anything like yelling, storming out of the room, simply closing down to the person, or just shutting down in general, or leaving the situation. And so many of us have found learned behaviors that work for us in much of a survival mode. Most of it comes to keep us safe. Our bodies, our reactions, the way that our nervous system impacts and assists us is through the guise of safety. Your body wants you to be safe. So whatever programming is in place to keep you feeling like you're safe, that's what your body is programmed to do, unless you introduce something else. So in your body, it doesn't feel wrong, but maybe the response, or maybe the energy that you're putting out or projecting, may not be as positive for the environment as a whole. And it may not be positive for you to respond that way based on what consequences may happen afterwards. And so that's the whole point, is being able to see it for what it is, so that you then can empower yourself that, like, yeah, I don't really want to show up in the world like this anymore. And so how is it that I can show up differently? Like, what can I do to empower myself to show up differently? So the way to identify your emotions and issues is to observe your conditioned response. So this is when we recognize that we're in full control and we sit back as a distant observer. I find that I grow the most when I allow myself not to be so embedded in the experience, and when I can just kind of sit back and watch myself interact in the environment, in the experience with others, right? And then whenever you find yourself reacting, look to see what you were feeling. And I'll go even further to say, look to see what you are feeling and where you're feeling it, because where you're feeling it tells you so much. That's why I talk about the chakra energy centers, is because each of those centers is connected to a larger part of us that really, really does have a big impact on the way we respond, whether this energy space of us is in balance or not. It has a really profound impact on how we interact with the world and what type of dense energies have the authority to be attracted or attached to our energetic bodies, and the way that we move, and the energy that we give, and the energy that we receive. It all has a place. So you've probably noticed that when certain situations come up, like someone having an opinion that is different from yours, you may feel bad. It may feel uncomfortable. When you're able to go within yourself and check it out by being aware of where the feeling is located in your body, or what thoughts arise when you ask yourself what's going on, rejection may come up. And in that space, you've just identified your core emotional pattern. And that's huge. It's huge just to even recognize it and realize it and just be self-aware. Self-awareness is not easy because it opens us up to see aspects of ourselves that we may not be proud of. But the work is in bravely facing those aspects and making a decision to manage it differently. So let's say you've been working on releasing rejection for a few days, and you encounter a similar situation of someone else with a different opinion than yours. Perhaps this time it was more forceful energy, so maybe they came off a little more aggressive this time, and subconsciously you felt threatened this time. You did not just feel sad, you felt threatened this time by the way this person came at you, right? Your immediate response would be to react, which relates to the emotion of conflict, which is your truth. Along with conflict is the need to control in order to protect and feel safe. So we're back to that part of your body is here. The way that you function is to keep you safe. Once out of the immediate perceived danger, the feeling of betrayal surfaces, and then disrespect or blame. So do you see how that snowballs? It just started out as a difference in opinion, but depending on where you are as far as like your own balancing your own body, because in this situation before, absolutely, I could see myself in this situation. Now for somebody to have a different opinion than mine, everyone is on their own journey. And so me going through this whole process, that's a lot of energy. Do you know how much energy it takes to go through this whole process of first feeling sad and bad because somebody feels differently than me, and then now I'm feeling threatened, and now I gotta feel like I need to react because now there's a conflict in place and don't nobody do this to me, so now I've got to control the narrative, I have to control the situation, and then I have to protect myself and feel safe, and now I'm just like, oh my God, now I feel betrayed, I feel like somebody disrespected me, I gotta blame somebody for how I feel, I gotta project it onto somebody else to get it out of my own body, and that's not okay. It's not okay to feel that way, that you have to project it onto somebody, that you have to blame something outside of yourself. That's not okay. Because once the hurt subsides, up comes rejection again. And now you're in victim mentality. Now you're a victim. All because you chose not to agree with someone and allowed yourself to go through the emotional pattern. So are you at fault? Should you feel guilty about it? Absolutely not. But being self-aware is helpful. Because with that self-awareness, once you feel those feelings, because you can feel that in your body, does your heart start to beat faster? Do you break out into a hot or cold sweat? You know, like what happens in your body? Sometimes I feel a dip in my stomach. Sometimes I feel energy coming towards me when somebody doesn't want me in their presence. I can feel it in my body. I can feel the resistance. But it's because I chose to be more self-aware. How do I start paying attention to how your body feels when you're in certain environments, when you're around certain people, when you're asked to do certain things, when you choose to do certain things, because sometimes we're out here people pleasing and it ain't got nothing to do with us. It has everything to do with, striving to make someone happy that maybe we love. And that's okay until it's not. Right? So Now you're a victim, now knowing you can't function in the world. In this weakened, vulnerable state, up comes F you. Because nobody wants to feel like they're a victim. Nobody wants to feel victimized. Nobody. And so when you take that stance from that situation, it can cause apathy, anger, rage, all types of emotions, but it takes up so much time. It takes up a lot of space. It takes up a lot of energy. And depending on what you do with that energy, it can take up a lot of karmic debt. So when nothing seems to work, you're left with feeling like a failure in that situation. Okay. So working on several emotions simultaneously reduces the emotional charge much faster than just working on the core issue. And so recognizing that you can have a core issue that creates a lot of different emotions, targeting the emotions before striving to go straight to the core issue is the best way of handling it. Because trying to go straight to the core issue with all these tentacles, it's almost like thinking that you're going to go straight to the space of where, like, the octopus has its body without being attacked by the tentacles. Tentacles are going to get you. And so that's why I advise that, and suggest and invite, invitation to allow yourself just to kind of be in the moment, be a distant observer, be present with it. Okay, so there's more information on that, but I did want to cover that before we dove deeper in, because that's the reason why we're looking at different emotions, because as we look at the different emotions and then we look at the different essential oils that soothes those emotions, as you're able to target those specific emotions, you are slowly getting to the core issue. Or maybe you're doing it in a fast way. Let me not say slowly, because maybe you're doing it in a fast way. But you're getting to that core issue. And once that core issue is resolved, then you're able to integrate and embody that demon, which is only just anything that's draining your energy because it's imbalanced in some way, shape, or form, and create an ally out of it. Because we're not destroying energy, we're simply just transmuting it, we're alchemizing it, okay? And we just happen to use sound energy sometimes, but mostly this platform is about essential oils. All right? Okay, so for those of you who are still here and want to learn about the rest of the stuff, because we are 20 minutes in, but I know that needed to be said. Even if people jump off, after me talking about that, it's worth it. Because we all have emotional patterns that we may not be proud of, that we want to move through so that we can coexist peacefully. And especially in this season right now, there's a lot of people who have differing opinions. And so in our humanity, let us ensure that we are in a place and space to allow ourselves to coexist peacefully without dogging out or dragging out any personal vendettas for people taking a stand in any way, shape, or form that they feel the need to. We all have to share the planet together, and so we all come from different places and spaces and experiences. And so just do what's best for you, and as I tell my children, stay on your own journey. So, Jasmine. Its emotional properties is that it's deeply uplifting. So let's look at jasmine. It's beautiful. It's floral. If you've never, they sell the dry jasmine. It is an amazingly sensual, floral, beautifully smelling scent. It's uplifting. It promotes a sense of love, optimism, euphoria, and it's also used to alleviate feelings of sadness, stress, anxiety, and it assists us as we're connecting to our hearts and enhancing feelings of self-worth. So if this one is standing out, you're needing a little bit more self-love this week, jasmine is an amazing essential oil for that. It is tied to the heart chakra specifically. So this is a space where you can apply the jasmine. And then it facilitates an emotional openness. So if you seem like if you've just learned, life has taught you to be very emotionally closed, using jasmine will assist you with being able to open your heart and open your emotions up towards self-love and compassion. So it attracts desire and spiritual love. So the emotion it can be tied to is feeling as though you're being used. Let me just sit on that for a minute. Many of us have been taught that saying no is disrespect. And so many of us have learned to share our energy sometimes to a fault. And that is the opposite of self-love. And so if this is something that you're experiencing, I'm sure that you may resonate with this oil. Also, maybe feeling unworthy. Maybe you've lived a life where you've been surrounded by people who didn't allow you to feel how worthy you were, right? So as we move through this emotion, this oil can be used in the pelvic area. If you feel like you're being used, it can also be used on the forehead, kind of like where you put your middle part. It can be put here. Take your worthiness back. You are more than worthy. Okay? Okay, and I have some suggested blends that I have in the description underneath. So feel free to use those. If you do not feel comfortable creating your own blends, I do have my link underneath to where you can request a customized essential oil blend. So I definitely do those. So feel free to hit me up about that. Our second oil is Lemon Eucalyptus. So the emotional properties associated with the lemon eucalyptus, it's known for refreshing and clarifying. Okay, so it helps to release emotional stagnation. So if you just feel like you're just kind of stuck in an emotion, this allows the lemon eucalyptus, it allows for releasing that emotional stagnance and releasing negative energy. So what it does bring is mental clarity, grounding, and a sense of fresh perspective, because sometimes we just need to see it from a higher perspective. Sometimes we need to change our mind. Sometimes it's time for some of us just to have a different way of looking at things. And that's okay. Lemon eucalyptus is definitely here for that. So it's connected with the solar plexus chakra, which talks about our self-confidence. So it aids in personal empowerment. If you've been feeling disempowered, it's great for that. It's great for creating clarity. And just, it's almost like an emotional detoxification that it provides. So what does it do? It energizes the spirit. It energizes the spirit. So I broke it up into two different oils whenever we're talking about Carolyn Minn's book, because she allows us to connect essential oils with emotions, but also talking about where is it that we can apply the oils, right? So lemon, it's associated specifically with emotions of feeling left behind, feeling entitled, a fear of detachment, a feeling of emptiness, a feeling of frustration, a fear of being unreliable, self-blame as it relates to like regret or remorse, feeling sad, stuck, or suffocated. And so if you're feeling any of those things, lemon specifically would be a great oil for you to use. Eucalyptus is connected with feeling bondage or physical stress. We can all feel whenever our body is like physically stressed. I feel like after I finish this, I'm probably going to go and rest, because you can feel when you are not at your best or at your optimum. And I feel like sometimes society makes us feel as though we need to keep pushing forward even when we know our body is not in that space, right? So if you're feeling that way, eucalyptus is fantastic. I've actually been diffusing eucalyptus, actually peppermint, for the past 3 days to ensure that, I'm doing what I need to do as far as self-care. So where do we put these things? It is connected to your sinuses. So this area here, the heart space, the neck, because that's also connected to like your parathyroid, your lymph nodes, also the spinal cord, your temples, and the neck area that like you can connect with your tonsils, with your sinus area. Okay, so those are the spaces that you want to go into, like applying lemon eucalyptus. Okay, so I separated them so that you could figure out which one resonates most with you. Okay, and again, I have a clarity blend and an empowerment roll-on down in the description if you're interested in that. I just needed a bowl. Sensory break. Okay. Our next scent is oregano. Oregano is powerful for helping release limiting beliefs and emotional blockages. So if you're feeling like you're really angry and it's really difficult to let go of the anger, oregano is a very good oil to use. If you feel like you're stuck in a space of resentment, or you have some negative emotions going on that's really hard to let go of, oregano provides a sense of emotional freedom and clarity. So it just allows you to it almost sounds like it's detoxifying like the eucalyptus, but just in a different way. Because it's connected, that last one was more connected with the solar plexus. This one is more connected with the root chakra. Okay, so we're talking about grounding again. We've been talking a lot about grounding these last 3 weeks. So it makes it suitable, because of the grounding properties of oregano, it makes it suitable to work with that specific energy center, which is talking about foundations and stability. So even when we're talking about limiting beliefs, sometimes we can have some foundational beliefs that are no longer working for us. And so whenever we go into a space of questioning those beliefs that are the foundation of who we think we are, then it takes us into a place of maybe misunderstanding our own identity. And that can be a hard, dark night of the soul to go through, when you have to release your identity from what it is that you've always known. And so oregano helps us with stability, letting go of fears, and releasing deeply held patterns. So to me, it sounds like it is like the creme de la creme of essential oils that help us to release emotional patterns. It releases limitations and discomfort. It's tied to the emotions of a fear of completion. So if you're having issues completing projects, toxicity, and lack of vulnerability. And so where we place oregano, for any of these that may be resonating with us, it can be placed on the top of the crown. It can be under the side of the ear, so the neck like right around here. And then it can be like the back mid of the crown. Okay, so I also have a grounding and root chakra massage oil recipes down below. And our last essential oil is Manaka, or we could also blend tea tree instead of Manaka. Okay, so both are purifying and cleansing. Okay, so they're supportive for releasing energetic attachments, because even sometimes when we leave and we decide to move away from dense environments or environments that don't feel safe or good for us, we can still have attachments. And so in these cases, tea tree or Manuka are fantastic essential oils to be able to release energetic attachments or emotional residues so that they create space for new perspectives and mental clarity. Okay, so this is connected with both the throat chakra and the third eye. So these are spaces that we can also put the oils in. They aid in mental clarity, communication, and overall energetic protection. Okay, so they bring about self-regeneration and transformation. And the emotion that's connected with the tea tree or the Manaka is suppression of life. So that's the suppression of your chi and your life force. That's also connected with the root. And so whenever you're feeling disempowered, or you feel stupid, or you feel self-destructive, you can take the Manuka, I hope I'm saying that right, or tea tree essential oil and put it in your pelvic root area. And I have some suggested blends for that too.
So we're going to end this segment with some affirmations to take us through the rest of the week as we apply the essential oils, or as we just use these affirmations to guide us through our breathing exercises, our yoga sessions, our guided or self-led meditations. So for lemon, I embrace sustainability and release the fear of detachment, or release the fear of whatever emotion that you may be holding that you feel like you want to get rid of. For eucalyptus, I embrace freedom and release the fear of whatever it is that you're fearful of. For oregano, I release the spirit of whatever that emotion is and embrace fully allowing myself to develop who I truly am without fear. And for tea tree, I am release being whatever that is that feels uncomfortable with being. Release that and embrace awareness. Or I breathe in respect for myself and release feelings of feeling disempowerment, or release feelings of feeling however that is whenever you don't feel that respect for yourself. So again, please feel free to click into my store. I do have the smudge stick spray. It comes as a rollerball oil. It can come as a body oil. That assists with, it actually has tea tree in it. It's actually lemon tea tree. Is so delicious. And peppermint and so many other oils just to clear energy. And so if you're interested in that, that also assists with getting rid of attachments from your energetic field. And also I have the hashtag mood spray or oil, body oil, whatever way you prefer it to come. But that is really good for it actually does have lemon eucalyptus specifically in it. It also has lavender, tea tree, orange, lemon, lemongrass, lavender, and grapefruit in that oil. And so if you're interested in that, it's amazing, just as like a booster, as a mood booster, as an attitude adjustment. So there are so many different ways that we can assist ourselves as we are just on the journey just to become better human beings, in order to allow ourselves capacity just to coexist, in a way that is respectful to all beings. So thank you for being a part of that collective that is striving to live
a life of that. Thank you for being on this journey, because that means that you are committed to that. Because all in all, it's really about being able to fully embrace ourselves. So then we have the capacity and the compassion and unconditional love to be able to be that for other beings. So may you continue to flow in favor. I will that this session allowed for harmony to be unleashed, mind, body, and soul. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.